Hello and welcome back. This is the Minisode of the Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Podcast. And so the title of the show, obviously you saw that probably in the notes, was A Big Mistake You're Making on Social Media, which sounds super ominous. Amy sent me a text this morning. I got up at a stupid early hour. Actually, no, she sent me an email and she said, you have to look at this. I'm not going to give away too much, Amy, because I don't want to spoil your but she said, you have to look at this and about what this author is doing on social. And I have to tell you, when I clicked on that link, I just kind of went, oh, like it was like, anyway, it just was awkward. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to run it? Because we're having way too much fun with this lead in.
I know, right? We've really built up the suspense, haven't we?
I know.
Again, Penny's mentioned this before. We are both big fans of true crime, so we listen to a lot of those. So I think some of that carries over and people are thinking like, you're talking about books. Can you take it down a notch with the suspense?
We've been listening to way too many true crime podcasts, right?
Very true. But still, okay. So a lot of authors still think social media is a sales channel. And we get that a lot when we do our social media coaching. For our clients, a lot of it is like, how do I sell more on this? How do I sell more on that? But that couldn't be further from the truth. You know, social media is a part of your brand overall. It falls under the entire umbrella. And your brand will support sales if you manage it the right way, or it could really kill potential sales if you let it falter.
Right.
And so this is one of those falter examples. And basically, what ended up happening is that I woke up this morning, not as stupid or early as Penny, but I did check my personal email and I noticed I got an alert from Amazon saying that the pre-order that I did for an author that I follow was delivered to my Kindle. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Honestly, I had forgot that I pre-ordered it. So it was like Christmas, a little surprise to myself. And in that same, beat, I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't think I follow this author on Instagram yet. And shame on me. So truly, as a reader, this is what's going through my head. So I immediately pull up Instagram and I find her. And same reaction as Penny. I was just like, ugh. Like literally, y'all, every post on her Instagram was a promotion for her book. Buy my book. Here's my book. My book is this price. Here's another image of my book. There was absolutely nothing on there other than these in-your-face images of her books at this point, reminding me that I can buy all of these books, and it just was so disheartening because I was really excited in that moment to go over there and follow on Instagram thinking like, I'm going to learn more about her, like on a personal level. I'm going to figure out like, oh, maybe she has a dog. Like, honestly, all these things were going through my head. I was so excited to go to that kind of, it sounds creepy now to say it this way, but I'm just going to do it. Go to that next level with her.
Right.
But this is how readers think. I was being a real reader in the moment, not a marketing person. And I was really excited to learn more about this person and start supporting them on Instagram. And I can tell you 100%, I did not click follow.
Well, and I think that, and I've seen this more often. We have an author that worked with us maybe a year or so ago, and she's in a romance category and really, really, really great covers. But every single post on her social media is, here's my book, here's my book, here's my book, and it becomes obnoxious. I'm sorry, that's probably not very nice. But I got to tell you, I think that this goes to how you are, creating a persona in social media doesn't mean that you have to, it doesn't necessarily mean more work, but it means that your reader is going to have, more reasons to follow you, right? And there's an example of this is a gal who I listened to this class that was at a conference a few years ago, and she couldn't figure out what to post on social media. And she said, in particular, she was on Instagram. She goes, I really didn't just want to post about my book all day long. So she decided to create posts that were about other people's books, similar, obviously, in her genre, right? Because otherwise it just seems very scattered. And she ended up becoming, inadvertently, a bookstagrammer that people are now reaching out to. So her page, yes, it's about her books and her book releases, but she also looks at other books in her genre that she really loves. She got very creative with that. Because I think that, and this author's page that you sent me this morning also didn't have, the images weren't very attractive. You've got to be so careful with that too.
It was so bizarre. It was so not in line with what I had in my head about her brand, because her covers are really well done. Yeah. It was just so jarring to just see all this, like, excuse my French, but spammy bullshit.
Yeah.
And all I could think of is like, oh my gosh, if I follow her, I'm going to see all this spammy bullshit all over my feed.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no way, no follow. It really matters. Got very real with everybody about what goes through my head, which is kind of scary, but
Amy, I think this also goes to what we always say, is that this author is hunting for readers, and we all want to find readers for books. Like, I get that, but there's a difference between going reader hunting, right? And going to where readers are and having them find you. Like, that's what you talked about is exactly what she's trying to do. Is she's just literally, I need more readers. I need more readers. I need more readers. And that just looks like spam. I mean, it just looks like somebody is, and to that end, be careful who you have managing your social media, because one thing that I've discovered from authors that I've talked to who say, I'm just really too busy to handle social media. And so I hired a company and it's really cheap and they're doing this, and it's great. And then you look at their social media and you see different versions of their cover posted every single day with almost zero engagement. And I don't know, you may as well just throw your money over the fence and, to your neighbor as opposed to having somebody. So I think the big lesson here is that you can really lose readers. I mean, Amy, let me ask you a question. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot for the show, although I am kind of putting you on the spot for the show. So when her next book comes out, would you be as eager to buy the next book? I mean, I know she's probably a good author and you really like her, but does that impact your buying decisions the next time?
So that's a great question. And my honest response would be, if it wasn't a series, absolutely.
Okay.
So, I mean, the reality is the book that I pre-ordered is book number 5 in a series. And right now I am invested because she is a great storyteller. I will give her that for sure. There's a reason I keep going back to this author. But if it was a standalone, I would definitely, it would factor into it, because I know I'm invested in this storyline. But that doesn't always mean that I will buy every book that an author comes out with. And I have another favorite author that I actually am very invested in a couple of her series, but there are others that I just haven't gotten into because they don't resonate with, the storylines in them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I am not an all in or nothing. But those kind of things, like your social media presence, what you put out there, the kind of vibe that you have about who you are as a person, absolutely factor into those decisions for me personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And this goes back to what we always say, absolutely everything matters. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Penny Sansevere and Amy Cornell, and this is the Minisode of the Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Podcast. Bye-bye.